Welcome back to Awesome Possum Hobbies and Games. I'm Chris. Today we're opening up my last order from TCG Player. Let's see what magic cards are inside. So here's the delivery we got from direct from TCG Player, my latest order. Of course, I'm paying full price for these. I tried to go through and shop the best deals out there and find out which ones are going to be the best bang for my buck, because everyone knows bucks don't go as far as they used to. So let's go through and see what's on in here. This is 60 cards for approximately $70. This came from 3 different places, not just direct, which was 52 cards, but from 2 other locations. I went through and put them in color, but not in any other particular order. So let's go ahead and go through and talk about them. Angelic Destiny, 2 white, 2 colorless, enchantment aura, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4 and has flying for a strike and is an angel in addition to other types. When an enchanted creature dies, return Angelic Destiny to its owner's hand. Yes, if you guessed, this is going to go into a enchantment aura deck, or even enchantment slash equipment deck. You are correct. So let's go ahead and keep going. Mantle of Ancients, same type of card. 2 white, 3 colorless, enchantment aura, enchanted creature you control. When Mantle of Ancients enters the battlefield, you return any number of target aura and or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. Court of Grace. This is another enchantment for white, 2 white, 2 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying, and if you're the monarch, you get to create a 4/4 white angel token with flying instead. No other traits on there, so just be aware, no vigilance, not like all other angels. This is going to go in my token deck. Nesting Dovehawk, 1 white, 3 colorless creature bird, flying. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, populate. When a creature token enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. So it's a 2/2 flying. It's going to go in my token deck. Elspeth's Talent. This is from the latest cycle of commander cards that can enchant Planeswalker. So that's new. 2 white, 2 colorless, enchantment aura, enchant Planeswalker, and enchanted Planeswalker gets +1 loyalty to create a 3/1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Fantastic ability. Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of enchanted Planeswalker creatures you control, get +2/+2 and gain vigilance till end of turn. Wow. Token decks, gonna love that. The other auto include for token decks is Elspeth Tyrell, for 2 white, 3 colorless, 4 loyalty Planeswalker Elspeth. For +2 loyalty, you gain +1 life for each creature you control, and then -2 loyalty, you get put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. -5 to destroy all other permanents except for lands and tokens. Cool for token decks. It's pretty cool. Next, we're going into blue cards, and in no particular order. Scheme of Thief, 1 blue, 3 colorless, flying, 3/3 creature. Vendelican, Rogue Artificer, flying. Whenever he deals damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of target artifact that player controls. It's interesting. I don't know what deck that's going to go in yet. I got a couple copies of next card. Keep Watch, 1 blue, 2 colorless, instant. Draw a card for each attacking creature. It doesn't necessarily have to be your attacking creature or creatures attacking you. So if an opponent is attacking another player, you can go through and pay the 3 to draw a bunch of cards. I think it's going to be a fun card. I forgot it had come out a while ago, so I had to pick up a couple copies. Seafloor Oracle, another card from my Merfolk deck that's 2BD. It's I don't know exactly how it's going to go yet, but I have a feeling it's going to go off the Explorer mechanic. But let's go ahead and talk about this guy. 2 blue, 2 colorless, creature Merfolk Wizard. Whenever a Merfolk you control deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card, and it's a 2/3. So drawing cards are always important. Next one's a Pact. Xander's Pact, to be specific. two black, 4 colorless sorcery casualty 2, so you can copy it by sacrificing power 2. Each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library. You may cast a spell from among those cards this turn. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to the spell's mana value rather than paying its cost. Fun. Here's another pact. Grave Pact. This one is from Commander's Legends. This is the full art I need. I want to get a copy of this for my black sacrifice deck. Great Pact. 3 colorless, 1 colorless. Enchantment whenever a creature you control dies. Each other player sacrifices a creature. So, you know, whenever it really counts for the coming to a play effect. So if I have one of those pesky creatures that makes it so everyone has to sacrifice a creature, if I sacrifice itself, guess what? It's going to be a double doozy. Everyone's going to have to sacrifice a creature, and then on top of that, since I sacrifice a creature, everyone else has to sacrifice another creature. Good times. Court of Locthwain. 2 black, 2 colorless enchantment. When it comes into play, you get to become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of target opponent's library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. If you're the monarch, until end of turn, you may cast a spell from among exile with this card without paying the mana cost. Awesome card. Monumental Corruption. It's a sorcery, 2 black, 3 colorless. Target player draws X cards, loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Yes, this is going to go to my artifact deck. Demons of Fate Design. 2 black, 4 colorless, 6/6 enchantment creature demon. Flying trample. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an enchantment spell from by paying life equal to its mana cost, rather than paying its. You pay life instead of paying its mana cost, and then you can pay black 2 colorless, sacrifice another enchantment. Demon of Fate gets +X, +0 until end of turn, where X is the sacrifice enchantment mana value. Second ability is not really that important on that card. It's all about the first part. Dogged Detective for 1 black, 1 colorless creature human rogue. This is an interesting card. It's a 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, you can surveil 2. So you can look at the top 2 cards and put any number of those cards into your graveyard, or put it back in any order you want. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you may return Dogged Detective from your graveyard to your hand, so you can do it again and again and again. Interesting card. Here's another fun card, Nightmare Unmaking. 2 black, 3 colorless sorcery. Choose 1. Each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand, you have to exile. Or exile each creature with power less than the number of cards in your hand. So it's a circumstantial board wipe. Next card, we're going into the section for red. Red. As I said before, I'm building a dinosaur deck for my GM, so this is, of course, kind of one of those auto-includes. Auto-Attack Hunt Master for 1 red, 1 colorless, 1/2. Dinosaur spells that cost 1 less to cast. Tap, target dinosaur gains haste until end of turn. There's a good addition to my Vampires deck. Vampire's Vengeance, 1 red, 2 colorless instant. This card deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature. Create a blood token. And it's an instant, so you can board wipe non-vampires. Industrial Advancement. This is an interesting enchantment. 1 red, 3 colorless. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may put a creature card from among them on the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Cost of that card doesn't matter. It's all about looking at the top X cards. So, fun. Audacious Swap. This is an instant, 1 red, 3 colorless, instant casualty 2. The owner of target non-enchantment permanent shuffles it in their library and then exiles the top cards of the library. If it's a land card, put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, they can cast it without paying its mana cost. So there's a big nasty card in play, and you absolutely positively have to get rid of it, or multiples, and you have a bunch of creatures with power 2 or greater. You can sack them to copy this card to force them to Chaos Warp a certain number of cards. Of course, Chaos Warp is slightly better. Of course, only target is one thing. Volshek Factory, 1 red, 2 colorless artifact. Taps reduce red, put a charge counter on it. Then you pay red, 2 colorless, tap it, sacrifice Volshek Factory, create a XX colorless golem artifact with where X is with haste, with X is the number of charge counters on it. So the longer it's in play, the bigger that token's going to be. Roar of Resistance. Creature tokens you control have haste. 1 red, 1 colorless. And of course, here's the rest of the enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures you attack, you may pay a red and 1 colorless. If you do, creatures attacking your opponents get or planeswalkers get +2/+0 till end of turn. Quite a bit going on with that card. Fun for my token deck. Next card, Path of the Pyromancer. 1 red, 4 colorless. Sorcery, discard all the cards in your hand. Add a red for each mana. Discard this way. Then draw that many cards +1. So it gets to replace itself, which is not something that happens with a lot of these Wheel Effect style cards. Of course, Wheel of Fortune forces every player to draw 7 cards. This one just replaces the number of cards you had in your hand before, getting a bunch of cards replacing it. Plus you get a bunch of red mana, which is not terrible. So if you have a way of putting cards in your graveyard and then using them, or other effects that have to deal with this card is pretty cool. Rowan's Talent. 2 red, 2 colorless. Enchant Planeswalker. Enchanted Planeswalker has +1 loyalty up to 1 target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample till end of turn. Well, that's fun, but also whenever you activate a loyalty ability, an Enchanted Planeswalker, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for that ability. So you get to do that first ability twice, or some other abilities a couple times. Next one is Dance Calamity. I got a couple of these. Don't know how I'm gonna play them yet, but let's go ahead and read it. It's a sorcery, 1 red, 7 colorless. Shuffle your library as many times as you choose. You may exile top cards of your library. If the total mana value of the cards exceeded this way is 13 or less, you may cast any number of those spells among those cards without paying their mana cost. Fun. I cannot wait to put that in my exile deck. And the second one, I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Next card, we're going into green. Descendant's Path. This is the new commander set from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. 1 green, 2 colorless. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card that shares a creature type with a creature you control, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast it, put it on the bottom of your library. So this is going to be for my nice little elf deck. Sandsteep War Riders. 1 green, 3 colorless. Trample, 4/4. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, bolster X, where X is a number of differently named artifact tokens you control. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. We'll see. Knick-Knack Oof. 1 green, X colorless, 1/1. Knick-Knack Oof. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Cool. Whenever Knick-Knack Oof enters the battlefield, reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put a number of aura cards with mana value of X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put on the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you get to go through, and if you have 5 extra mana or 6, for the 5 for the X, you get to look at the top 5 cards, and then you could put anything that costs 5 or less into play pretty much, as long as it's enchantment or an aura. So there's some options there. Loomcrafter Fawn. I got a couple of these. So 1 green, 2 colorless creature, Satyr Druid. When Loomcrafter Fawn enters the battlefield, you may discard 1 or more land cards. When you do, return up to that many target land permanents from your graveyard to your hand. A lot to unpack on that card. I think this card's cool. When it comes into play, you can get rid of one of those extra land cards you've been holding in your hand for a while, teasing your opponent like you have some kind of answer. Now you can get rid of it to get something that's a much better option that you can play and put in play. Next card is Giant Inheritance. 1 green, 4 colorless. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +5/+5 whenever this creature attacks. Create a monster roll token attached to up to one target attacking creature. So it's not necessarily just +5/+5. It's +6/+6 for one creature, or you can have that monstrous roll token attached to one other target attacking creature. You know, it's cool. And then when it's put in the graveyard from the battlefield, you get to return your hand. So it never really goes away. Another card for the dinosaur deck, Drover of the Mighty. 1 green, 1 colorless. Creature human druid. Drover of the Mighty is +2/+2 as long as you control a dinosaur. And then you can tap to reduce any mana you want. And then the next card is Vivian's Talent. 2 green, 1 colorless enchantment aura, enchantment planeswalker. Enchanted planeswalker has +1. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from among them. Put the rest of them in your library on the bottom of your library in random order. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a loyalty counter on Enchanted Planeswalker. So it's going to grow whenever you play creatures. Get into the colorless section. Colorless is not it. There's lots and lots of multicolored cards, so stay tuned. First one is a basic land. Yes, it's a basic land. It's Wastes. If you're not familiar with it, Waste is just a basic land with no color type, so it produces colorless. Arcane Signet, full art. I'm a big fan of these full art cards that came out in most recently. I try to get as many of them for my decks as possible. I'm a big fan of the new artwork too. Some of them the artwork is much better than the old ones. Some are better, some are not, but I like the look of the full art card. So Arcane Signet, 2 colorless artifact. Add 1 mana of any color, your commander's color identity. So it is a great mana rock. Next one's Currency Converter, 1 colorless artifact. Whenever you discard a card from your hand, you may exile that card from your graveyard. Pay 2. And then tap, draw a card, then discard a card. See part number 1. And then you can also tap, put a card, exile with Currency Converter into your graveyard. If it's a land, you get to create a treasure token. If it's not if it's a non-land card, you get to put a 2/2 black rogue creature token into play. All kinds of stuff is going on in there. So take your time, reread it. It's cool. It's really cool, especially for 1 colorless mana. Here's a new card from the Lord of the Rings. Nagzul Battle Mace, 5 colorless artifact equipment. So this is going to go specifically in my black sacrifice deck. Equipped creature has Menace, Death Touch 1, Annihilator 1, and whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent, put that card onto the battlefield under your control unless that player pays 3 life. Guess what? With the right god in play, it's going to happen anyways, and has cost equip 3. Warden of Geometries. This is a mana dork, very expensive mana dork, 4 cost, 2/3 vigilance, and it taps to reduce colorless mana. Yes, this is going to go in my Eldrazi / artifact deck. Another not Eldrazi colorless card, Obtrusive Archaeac. 4 colorless creature avatar, vigilance, and it's a 3/4, and then pay 1, tap it. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control from a colorless source. You may choose new copies for that. So, that doesn't really matter, but there's other triggered abilities or activated abilities that happen. Next one is Scour from Existence. This is a common for 7, exile target permanent. Period. Just gone. And it's not colorless. Next card, Not of This World, 7 colorless mana, tribal instant Eldrazi. Counter target spell or ability that targets a permanent you control. This spell costs 7 less to cast if its spells targets a creature you control with power 7 or greater. Fun, fun, fun. Next card, Rise of the Eldrazi. 3 colorless mana, plus 9. So 3 specifically colorless mana, plus 9 colorless mana. Sorcery, this spell can't be countered. Destroy target permanent. That target player draws 4 cards. Take an extra turn after this one, and then you have to exile this card. Does a lot but of course it costs 12 mana. Get into the colorless section. Let's go. Elevator of the Wild Court, 1 white 2/1 green 2 colorless. Legendary creature, Human Knight. When this card enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token. What? Virtuous? Oh, we haven't really seen that before. And this is from the commander set. Whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. Enchantments. And since I didn't know what a virtuous roll token was, here it is. On the backside is a copy. Virtuous is on the bottom side of the monster. So virtuous token enchantment or a roll. So it is a roll token. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Very good. So including itself. Gallowayne, casting director. 1 white, 1 green, 1 colorless. Legendary creature, Human Bard. It's a 2/3. Whenever a Gallowayne casting director or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Create a Royal Row token, Sorcerer Roll token, or Monstrous Roll token. Lots of choices, and they're all considered to be enchantments. Shalai, and Halar. 1 white, 1 red, 1 green, 1 colorless. It's a 3/3 flying vigilance, and whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, Shalai and Halar deals that much damage to target opponent. Fun. All will be one. Best Soul Nourisher. 1 white, 1 green, 1 colorless, 1/1. Whenever one or more creatures with power and toughness 1/1 enter the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. Whenever it attacks, each creature you control with base power and toughness of 1/1 gets a +X/+X, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on best. This is going to go in my green-white tokens deck. Zealotalic, something like that. The Smiling Flood. 1 green, 1 blue, 4 colorless. 6/6. Legendary creature, Salamander Serpent. When this card enters the battlefield or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. That land is an island in addition to other types for as long as it has a flood counter on it. So now you can go through and make your lands dual lands. Or, at the beginning of your untap each permanent you control with a counter on it. So you get to go through and really start untapping your stuff if you have a lot of things with +1/+1 counters. Or, your lands are going to start untapping at the end of beginning of your end step. So you'll have mana on your opponent's turn. So good. Bright Palm Soul Awakener for 1 white, 1 green, 1 red, 1 colorless, 4/3. Legendary creature, Fox Shaman, backup 1. When this creature attacks, double number 1/+1/+1 counters on target creature. That creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. Think what you want. Yeah, I'm thinking about green, white, red counters deck. Next card. Parnis the Subtle Brush. Yes, she's an artist. Yes, she's a vampire wizard and costs 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue, 2 colorless, 4/4 legendary creature vampire wizard. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter the spell or ability unless an opponent pays 4 life. Whenever you copy a spell, up to 1 target opponent may also copy the spell. They may choose new targets for that copy. So be aware, your opponents can copy your copies. Kit Kanto Mayhem Diva. 1 white, green, red, and 1 colorless for 3/3 legendary creature, Catbard Druid. Yes, the white, green, red deck is a couple steps closer for creating a counter deck. Whenever the Kit Kanto enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white citizen creature token. At the beginning of your comment on each player's turn, you may untap 2 untapped creatures you control. When you do, target creature that player controls gets +2/+2 and gains trample till end of turn. Go that creature. Yes, I get to pump my opponent's creatures and force them to attack. And hopefully I'm not the only opponent out there. Otherwise, this, this could be very bad very quickly. And another card for the creature token deck. Wildfire Awakener. 1 white, 1 red, 1 colorless, and you can add X more colorless. Convoke. 3/2. There's the battlefield. Create X/1/1 red elemental creature tokens. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to target player. Why, yes. Convoke is really cool. Prosperous Partnership. 1 white, 1 red, 1 colorless. Enchantment. When this card enters the battlefield, create 2/1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Tap 3 untap creatures you control. You get to create treasure tokens. So at the end of your opponent's turn, you get to tap all your creatures, create a ton of treasure. Let's go, go, go. Cryptic Pursuit. This card is interesting. For 1 red, 1 blue, 2 colorless enchantment, when you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, manifest the top card of your library. So you get to put it into play as a 2/2 face-down creature. Whenever a face-down creature you control dies, exile it if it's an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card until the end of your next turn. Wow. Lots going on there. I can't wait to actually play that in a couple different decks. I might have to buy a couple more copies of that because it is cool. Mistrew Meadow Vanisher, Kithkin Wizard. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Kithkin cards. They're kind of the poor man's Hobbit. For a white or blue plus 2 colorless creature, Kithkin Wizard, 3/2. Whenever this card becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control until the beginning of the next turn. Guess what? I am going to commit my Mother of Machines deck over to white-blue. That's going to go into it. Elida and Azor. 1 black, 1 blue, 1 white, 3 colorless, 6/6 legendary creature, Vampire Knight Sphinx. Flying, Ward 2. Whenever this creature attacks, you can pay black, blue, white plus X. If you do, draw X cards. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 4 life. If you do, create a number of 1/1 black vampire Knight tokens with lifelink equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Whew. Man, you need to get that lifelink going. Got to get that going. And of course, the commander of the dinosaur deck that I'm building for my GM. 1 white, 1 green, 1 red, 2 colorless, 4/4 legendary creature dinosaur. Whenever this card or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X, where X is that creature's toughness. Do this only once each turn. Yep, it's a good card. Order of the Sacred Desk. 1 black, 1 white, 6 colorless, 5/5 Convoke. Convoke! That's the key. That's how you're able to play this card. Flying, lifelink, exalted haste. Other vampires you control have exalted. So if you attack with 1 creature, your exalted is going to kick in and give all your other creatures bonuses to the number of creatures you got. So it's cool. And then here's the commander for my Merfolk deck. 1 blue, 1 green, 2 colorless legendary creature, Merfolk Scout. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, each Merfolk you control explores. So you can put some lands in your hand, or if you have just 1 non-land card, you can just look at the top card continually and say, oh look, +1/+1, +1/+1, +1/+1. Lots of cards are going to get +1/+1. And it's going to happen every single turn. And then whenever this card attacks, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. If you do, draw. If you don't, you can draw a card. So, yeah, lots going on. Can't wait to build a deck around him. It's going to be fun. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed me showing off these cards. It's 60 cards for about $70. The average card price on this was just about $1.10. Some of the cards in here are 50 cents, some of them are 20 cents, some of them are, a couple $7 cards. Overall, I think this is going to be a fun stack of cards to build decks around. Well, if you have any suggestions or comments, please put them in the comments below. And until next time, keep them rolling! And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like the video and subscribe if you'd like to stay updated. Have a great day and keep them rolling.